Good morning, everyone. Let's try that again. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
That's awesome. I'm delighted to be here, really humbled to be here, especially after such a wonderful presentations by my colleagues. Real quick survey, show of hands. How many people have a Twitter account? Raise your hand. Awesome. Awesome. I'm going to actually give you permission to go on Twitter while I talk and follow me at iScott4. If you don't have a Twitter account, feel free to set one up, but not now because it takes too long. But follow me at iScott4, and let's continue this conversation, not only about what I'm getting ready to talk about, but also perhaps about what my colleagues have talked about. And follow the Ed School. It has a wonderful Twitter account, Usable Knowledge, which you can learn a lot. I'm big time into Twitter. So I'm delighted to be here. My name is Irvin Scott, and I teach leadership here at the Ed School. And just delighted to talk a little bit about Leadership Institute for Faith and Education. So I've had the privilege, I've been so honored to lead on so many different levels. So in 1989, I began to lead at the classroom level. I was an English teacher, choir director for many years in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Loved it with a oh my goodness, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Whoa, sorry. Loved it with a passion in the classroom. And then I went on to lead at the school level, right? Leading teachers and leading students at a high school, J.P. McCaskey East High School, for several years. And then came here, blessed to come here and have the opportunity to learn about system-level leadership, and then went on to lead high schools as the assistant superintendent for high schools in Boston Public Schools and chief academic officer in Boston Public Schools. And then from there went on to lead at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, where we led systems to implement new thinking around teachers, supporting teachers and evaluating teachers. So that's been an honor for me to lead for so many years. But what I thought about was, you know what? While I've been leading, the thing that has led me through all of those experiences, and perhaps many of you also feel the same way, is my faith. My faith has been tremendously important in every single area of leadership that I've ever experienced. And it all started in many ways right here with my parents, Bishop Edgar L. and Mother Minnie P. Scott, who led their children, Edgar, Freddie, Greg, Harold, Darlene, and me. And they led us to have passion and commitment for family, for learning, and for faith. That's them right there, my parents, standing with me when I graduated from here. And you can see the euphoria on their faces. What you don't see necessarily is the faith, but the faith is there also. But what struck me over time is that while I had this strong foundation of faith and continue to have this strong foundation of faith, I often felt there was a divide between that faith experience, which was a huge part of my identity, and my school experience. A disconnect is the way I felt it was. And you might argue that's an appropriate disconnect given the separation of church and state in this country. And in some ways, I kind of agree with that. But one of the things that I wonder is there a possibility that the connection between faith and education for some students might actually help accelerate their learning and accelerate their achievement in school? One of the fascinating things, I love this study, the Pew Research Center does a study each year on the role of faith in the U.S. And if you look closely, the two populations that continue to say consistently that faith plays a significant role in their identity and who they are the Black, African American community, Latino community. What's interesting about those communities is those communities traditionally struggle the most in our school systems. Academically, oftentimes from a discipline standpoint also. I love this One of the things that we've been looking at as a group as we work on this institute are some data around this. If you look at the fact that there are 48,900 high poverty schools in this country, often heavily populated by those populations I just talked about. Also rural white communities. 48,000, nearly 50,000 high poverty schools. Over 350,000 congregations, ecumenical congregations. I'm not just talking about Christian population. I'm talking about ecumenical, multiple faith communities in this country. Over 350,000, well over the number of high poverty schools. Almost a 7-to-1 ratio. What if there was an opportunity to engage these faith communities around these struggling schools, these struggling communities, in a powerful way to help improve achievement for those communities? So several questions. I wonder if it's possible to be more strategic about partnerships between schools, school systems, and the faith communities that surround them. That's a big wondering for me and many of them on my team as we try to do this work around building an institute. Are there benefits to having faith communities partner with schools and school systems to collectively advocate for specific K-12 policy agenda? Not just working from a programmatic standpoint, but actually getting faith leaders in a position where they can advocate for those communities. One of the times that I do remember an intersection between my faith and my schooling was when my father actually went to a school board meeting and spoke to the school board about the fact that they were taking too long to build a school in the high poverty community, and they needed to speed up. The school was Thaddeus Stevens Elementary School. He went to that meeting on behalf of me and the children in our community, and that school was built. That school is still existing today. The intersection of policy and advocacy. How might faith communities and education communities create an environment which enables them to exchange social and educational capital they both possess? These communities of faith have a lot. My colleague Rick sort of alluded to it already. A lot of value add that they provide for children, no matter what faith it is. Are there safe ways to tap into the rich reserve of faith that exists for American educators, for teachers, for principals who have those faiths? And I emphasize the word safe. Of course, there are risks to what we're trying to do. Obviously, there's a separation of church and state. Again, I believe in that. I think that's tremendously important. What is already happening? One of the things that as we were doing this work, we said, what we don't want to do is repeat work that is already happening. So we're looking for excellent opportunities where people are already doing this work in powerful ways. And avoid being swept up in the politics of religion, which are predominant these days. These are some individuals who are working on our team. If you're interested in finding out a little more about it, go to our website, go to my website. Here at the Ed School, you can find out a lot about it. We'd love to have you partner with us. These are some of the groups that are working with us across the country to do this work in powerful ways. We were committed to not trying to do this just from Harvard. We wanted to do it with the communities that are doing work already. I love this quote. Read it real quick. Attributed to that great leader, spiritualist Gandhi. And I want to end with, I actually want to end with a song that my mother used to sing us and sing in the church as she was bringing us up. It went like this: look where he brought me from. Oh, look where he brought me from. He brought me out of darkness into this marvelous light. Look where he brought me from. Thank you very much.